So, okay, we'll start with control structures. So we have already seen in one of the example of pyramid. We took one example of pyramid where we wanted to execute some of the code multiple times, right? And also we saw one example yesterday where in a building from floor 1 to 10, from floor 3 we directly want to go to 10. Okay, so likewise, what is a Java program? It's a list of instructions which are executed from top to down. What do you mean by top to down? From line 1 to line 10. Okay. So what we are doing here, first it is executing line 5. These all are comments. Comments will be executed. Then it will execute line 10. And then it will execute line 18 and line 19. So that's what we call top down. Okay. So now what is control structures is it allows you to control or change the flow of execution in a program. So through using control structures we can determine what all statements should be executed based on some conditions. And also what we can do is we can execute some of the code multiple times. Okay. So give me some example how we can how we will change the order of statements execution. Any example? Let's suppose I am asking you to write a code to print an even number. You all know even number? Even number? Print I am storing any of the number here. Now I only want to print I and j if they are even numbers. If so, first of all, is it correct? Why? I is not even number. So it means we need some check. We need to check something here. Okay, execute this line 24 only if some condition, some of my condition is successful or is met. Only then execute this line. So what should I do? Like if we talk in a simple English, right, I should write execute below statement only if I is even. Now we'll use operators. How do we find if any number is even? Mod. It means if we break it down, it means if I mod of 2, then 0. What next operator should I use? Double equals to 0. I need this. I got this by reading the operator. Okay. Now what is required? Condition is required. It should be true. This equality operator, it will always return. What equality operator will return? What all values will it return? True or false, right? So I need something where I can check. So to do this check, we have if condition. If. Simple. If I is equal to 0, and print this. So using this, what we are trying to say is कि whatever expression we are using here, if it returns true, then execute the statements which are present in this block of time, which are present in this block. We can have multiple statements here. Using this, we are saying only execute this if this particular expression is returning. No, here what we are saying, what it will return? True. So only if it will return true, only then this statements would be printed. So here through control structures, what we have done is we Java compiled it, assigned value 5 to an I, then it assigned value j to 4, then it will execute next line which says if I % equal to 0. Okay, it evaluated this. Then what next line will it print? Will it go to 24th line? Yes or no? Huh? Yes? It will go? How many yes? No, so now Java is executing this, right? Compiler is executing or Java is executing. It read this line number 21. It is top down. First, it will read this line number 21. What it is doing here? Declaring and assigning a value 5 to an I. I got value. What value it got? 5 na? Now here j equal to 4. Now here what it is doing? It's checking a condition. If I mod 2 is equal to 0, what it is checking? Mathematically, if I is even. And what we have said, only if this condition is true, these whatever statement this block have, it will execute. Else it won't execute, it will go to the next line. Okay, it executed this line, then what would the next line it will go to? 24th? No, it will directly go to 28th. So we have changed the flow of the program. Earlier, without this if condition, it was always 21, 22, then 24, then 23, 24, and then 27, right? By using if, we have changed the flow of the program. So that's what we are saying. It allows to change the flow of execution based on some conditions, and also it will allow us to repeat some code. For example, I have to print hi 5 times. What should I do? Print this hi 5 times, right? This is how I should print hi 5 times. What if I have to print it 1000 times? What should I do? Write it, copy it, write it 1000 lines. If 10,000, then 10,000 lines. Huh? It is a repetition, right? There should be some way where I should not repeat my code. What is that way? Loop. Repetition, loop. We'll go into detail, but what we'll do here is we'll say ki, okay, start from 1, go until it is less than 5, and increment I with each iteration. I have to print it hi 5 times. This is how I should do. Huh? Perfect. So it will print hi 5 times. So this is the repetition, and the first example was what was the first example? It was changing the flow of the program, and here we are repeating it. So there are different categories of control structures. So first is conditional or selection or any decision control statements. So we have seen with one example of if, where it allows the program to choose different execution paths or to choose between different statements, right, depending on the outcome of any expression, and then, right, or expression output or any state of the variable. We'll see. We'll do how we do it. We do it using if else or switch case. We'll study it in deep about all these. Iterative. We have seen an example of iterative loop. It is used to repeat one or more statements. So they are the loops which run specific code blocks, okay, for specific number of times. Then third type is branching or jump statements. So with the branching, what do we mean by branching? Jump or branching means something like this. this executing this, and it should branch executing else, then jump to this statement, execute this, then jump to. So it is a non-linear. First it is executing this, then this, then this. What would be the linear way? The linear. But if we have different branches, non-linear way, we do it using branching and jump statements. So here we execute the program in non-linear fashions. So it also alters the flow of control in loops. And another type is exceptional handling statements. So it is used to handle the exceptions or error codes in our any exceptions or errors that we face in the Java code. So we have a separate lecture on exceptions. There we'll cover how do we handle the exceptions and how it changes the flow of the program. Okay. Now we'll start with decision control structure. We've already seen the example of if, right? So what does it do? It executes a code of block only if the specified condition is true. So the condition is there in the parenthesis. Condition would be there in the parenthesis, and it should always evaluate to true if something needs to be executed in the block. And how do we denote a block? What is block here? Parenthesis, curly braces. So whatever is there between an opening curly braces and the closing curly braces, we say it a block. So whatever statements are there in between, we say a block, and this block is only executed if the condition is true. Okay. What if I do like this? What will happen here? My age is 20. There is no block here. Will it run? Why? There is no branches. So if my age is 17, then also it will run. It will run. He's saying it will run. Why no? Because it is false. But here you are saying it will run, but there is no block. I remove this block. Now it will run. Why? Single line statement. So it's a special case where the braces is not needed if only one statement is there in the if block. So here if there is only one statement that needs to be executed, the braces is not required. Now with this age, if someone's age is greater than or equal to 18, I want to print these two lines. You are an adult, you are an adult again. Now with this it will print both the lines. Yes or no? Yes, but there is no block here. Else is no. Just focus on the if. So what we have said, if this condition is true, it will execute anything in a block. Forget about else if. Here for the if, what we are saying, if this condition is true, we will execute whatever is there in the block. Block is this, right? We said like this. Now when we did it, when we printed like this, we were saying that it will still print even though there is no block, because we said that Since there is only one statement, it will print. But now I want to print two statements. Will it also print? Will it print both the statements? So what will be the output here? It will only print first statement, and then it will not print this. Huh? It will print. Why? Yeah. Any other? Anyone else want to answer? Will it print both the statements or not? So see, what has happened is, what we are trying to say here is, first of all, you all know it executes a block of code only if the specified condition is true. So earlier we took this example and we said all these statements would print. So Java will verify it. If it is true, it will print all these statements and then it will resume from statement 27, right? If it is false, it will not print statement at line number 24 and 25 and it will resume from line number 27. That's how it will work. Now when we are saying that if there is only one statement that needs to be executed, if this condition is true, we don't need a block. What we'll do is, we'll just write this statement without a block, right? So now what will happen is, if this statement is true, it will print this line and then it will resume from the next line, right? And if it is false, will it execute line number 24? No. And will it execute line number 26? Yes, because it has nothing to do with the if condition. If there is no block, only first statement is considered to be a part of this if condition. If there are more than one statement, we have to use block. If in an if condition you want to print both the statements, in that case you want to use block. Where? Like this? Without the, okay, you are saying without the block. If the statement is true, what it will print? Not the 25th? No, like what do you think? Only the first one. Why not 25th? So you are saying anything which is after this line number 24, it will not be printed. That's what you think, right? But what we discussed, if condition only affects whatever, first of all, if condition only affects whatever is there in the block. If there is no block, it will only affect the first statement. Only print first, and then from the next statements it will resume as is. Whatever is the normal workflow, normal flow, it will resume from that. You don't believe me? I'll run. Okay. It's good. I don't trust anyone. Yeah, you are right. It has only print one. Why?
Because it is false.
It is false. Age is 17, it is false, it has not executed this. And now if age is 18, it will print only one, you are saying, as per you? No, yeah, see, question is, in your line of code, you have thousands of statements, right? Out of thousands of statements, you want only 10 statements should be printed or should be executed based on some conditions. Rest all the statements should not be affected by this if condition. right? You're not getting? No? You got it, right? So because it will have, like I'll have some more operations saying age equal to age plus 10. Right? Some more things. So this if condition should only impact few of the statements. And if there are more than one statements which should be impacted, we have to keep it in a block. If we have forgotten the block, and if we are not using a block, the Java will treat that okay, only one statement is a part of this if condition. So without a block, this one statement will be printed if this condition evaluates to true. If it is false, it will execute line number 25, right? It means line number 25 will always be executed irrespective of the if condition, right? So there is another if else statement. Okay, so here my use case is I got a age, I got a number, and I have to print if the number is even, I have to print that number is even, or else number is odd, I have to print number is odd. So what should be my structure? In English, how we are saying, okay, if a number is even, so like mentally when we get a number, like I am speaking 17, how do you process? You do 17 modulus 2. Okay, it is returning 1 or it is not returning 0, then I have to say odd. Or if modulus 2 equal to 0, then I have to say 0. Like you have to say number is even. So in the same manner, if we want to write it programmatically, what we'll do? We got a number, we'll check, okay, if modulus 2 is returning 0, then print number is even, else print number is odd. It means that if this if conditions evaluates to false, then the statements present in the else block will be executed, right? Because in this case number can be either even or odd. Here we don't need to check for an odd, right? Because if number is not even, then number is always odd. Any doubt? So what does it mean? In this if else, what does it mean? It first executes, it will execute this block if this condition evaluates to true. If this condition is false, then it will print the statements which is present in the else block. Simple. Right? So it executes first block of code if the condition is true, and second block if the condition is false. Now if else if, okay. So here take an example. So here we have a grading system. So like people with marks greater than 80 will get a grade A, and then grade B, C, D, E, F, right? So mentally if you want to do it, how will you do it? Tell me. You want to calculate the grades of any person. You know the parameter of a grade. If the number lies from 0 to 40, the grade is F. If number lies from 40 to 80, the grade is B. And if the number is 80 to 100, the grade is A. Now I have told you number 50. How will you check? Like, how will you do? You will check, okay, is this number between 0 to 40? Oh no, it's not a number 0 to 40. Let's try for another situation, another comparison from number 40 to 80. Okay, is this now number between 40 to 80? Yes. So I have to say grade. If the marks is 90, what you will do? You will first check, okay, is number 0 to 40? No. Now I'll check if the number is between 40 to 80. No. And then third condition I'll check, okay, if the number is greater than 80 or between 80 to 100, yes, then I'll say grade is A. In the same manner, here in Java, we can, if we have multiple conditions, we will use else if. Okay, so here we are getting a marks. If the marks is greater than 90, we'll print grade A. If marks is greater than 80, we'll print grade B. And if it is 70, we'll print grade C, 60, and like this. Else. Why else here? Why haven't I used else if? Huh? Very good. If none of the above conditions satisfy, my last resort is that the grade is F. And please note, if I do like this, if I remove the else block, will it work fine? Yes. But now, what would be a problem here? Huh? Very good. What if marks is below 40? Then in that case, we are not printing anything. So that's why else works as a default case. If none of the condition is satisfying, print any marks, right? So that is else if. So if statements are executed from the top down, as soon as one of the conditions satisfy or returns true, the statements or the statement blocks associated with that if is executed, and the rest of the else if or else conditions are bypassed. They are not executed. If none of the conditions are true, then the final else statement will be executed. If else block is there. If else block is not there, it will just get out of this block. It will not print anything. Any doubts? Okay. Nested ifs. What do you mean by nested ifs? Nested means? Nested nest. Like nested if means if inside a if inside a if. That's what we call nested ifs. If there are any other if conditions other in any other if statements. So let's take this example. Now we have a scenario where first we have to check whether the age is greater than or equal to 18. If age is greater than or equal to 18, and then we have to check whether it is a student or not. There are two conditions. First the age, and the second is what is the occupation. Are you a student or not? So now there are two conditions. So how we will do is, first we'll check for if age is, first we'll check for an age. If it evaluates to true, it will execute the statements present inside this block. Yes or no? So if age is greater than or equal to 18, it will execute 25th line. So it will say you are an adult. Now in another if condition, it is checking are you a student or not. There is another a check. If you are a student, then it will print this line, or else it will print this line. You all got it? If this condition is false, it will go to its else statement saying you are a minor. Like this, you can have multiple nested if conditions. Any doubt? I have pasted all the sample codes. You can always use it. Write it. So switch statements. So basically what switch does it? It evaluates an expression. We provide an expression and it executes the code blocks based on the matching case values. Okay. And the break statement terminates the switch block. Let's take an example. Now, based on what is the day of week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I need to print the name of the day. Okay. So what I have done here is I have used the switch here, and in the switch I have provided this variable. Okay, and then I will have multiple case. So can anyone tell me what it is doing? What it is doing? Anyone? Huh? Right? So what it is taking is, it is taking day of week. Okay, this day of week could be anything in a program. It could be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So now it will take, let's suppose here day of week is 3, it will take 3 here. Now it will search for this case whose value is 3. Okay, this case, this value is 1, it will ignore it. It will go to this case. Okay, is the value 3? No. It will go to this case. Okay, is the value 3? Yes, I found the value 3. Now I will go to this case block. Okay, now I have assigned day name as Tuesday, and then I have used break. What break will do? It will get you out of this switch block. Okay, it will get you out of the switch block, and then it will directly print you. It will directly go here. So here, when you execute your code, you will see date of the week is Tuesday. Why? Because it has matched this Tuesday. What if I give day of week as 13? Why invalid? Where invalid is mentioned? Like in if else, we have seen the default else block, right? In the case of switch case, we have a default block also. If none of the case matches with this switch, then the default block is executed and day name is assigned as invalid day. Okay, yeah. So here what it does is, so here in the switch we define a switch. Here's what is the switch. It is a keyword. It's a keyword, Java keyword. So here we provides an expression. So the value of the expression is compared with each of the values in the case statements. So here we are providing a value 1 2 3. Why? Because here the data type that we have used is, what data we have used? Int. So here in the case you are seeing int, case 1, case 2, case 3. So here the case labels, here case 1, here the 1 is called a label, case, then label, and then colon. So it must be a compile time constant expression. Okay, so what does it mean? So during compile time itself, we should be able to get its value. So either it should be a constant or any literals. Okay, so if a match is found, the code sequence following that case statement is executed. If none of the constants matches the value of the expression, the default statement, this default is executed. Okay, and please note this default is optional, right? No, default is optional. Let's suppose if I remove here, what will it print? Huh? Sorry? It will print Tuesday? Why? Nothing. It will print nothing. Let's see. It is saying the local variable name may not have been initialized. We have discussed yesterday, right? Local variables and all. So what it will print now? No day, because there is no default. Will it print no day or invalid? Invalid, because now since we have a default case, it will go to invalid. So here, switch. In this switch, how do we define? This is a switch. Then we have an expression here between the parenthesis and then one curly braces. That's how we define a switch. And then there is a case, label, and then colon. Okay. So about this switch expression, it has a value which will be compared against each case label. So it can be of specific type. Either it can be of type byte, short, int, char, a string object, or an enum. We'll study about the string and enum later, but you can note it has string and enum. So object references we have talked about can also be used in expression. We'll see it later. How can we use it? So each value specified in the case statements must be a unique constant expression. Okay. Duplicate case values are not allowed, and the type of each value must be compatible with the type of expression. So first of all, let's see. Each value must be a unique constant expression. What does it mean? Can I do like this? It must be a valid. Why? It's a duplicate case. We have already defined this case 5. Is it fine? But we are saying that it should be a unique constant expression. Is it a unique constant expression? Yes, because in the compile time itself, Java will know, okay, what value it would have, right? What if I define a variable, I want to use this ij. Will it work? Why? Now we have used a variable. Now it can change anytime. So Java is saying it should be a constant expressions. At this point of time, the value may change, so I won't support it. So there is a keyword saying final. So what final says is, it once you use a final, and once you assign a value, you cannot modify it, right? So by assigning a final to this int, you have said that this is a constant value. Now it won't change. So that's why there is no error here. Now you can use it because it should be a constant literal values. Okay. Any questions? Now, can I use here? Let's suppose if I use a week, I want to use this string, but then why it is failing? It should be of compatible data type. The switch, whatever expression we are using in switch, and this expression will return string, the case label should also be a string. To fix it, we'll use like this. We'll convert it to a string. Right? That's what we studied here. And duplicate case values we have already seen. When we tried to assign a duplicate value, it showed an error. And compatible type also we have seen. So here please note, when the code flow goes inside the case and when it sees the break. When it sees this break, so what it will do? The code jumps out of the switch block. Okay? And until it sees a break, the code will keep on executing for the next case also. What does it mean? First of all, tell me if the break is here, at what line it will go, the code will go. Let's suppose the day of week is 1, it went to line number 11, okay, week is 1, then it will go to 12, and then it has seen break at line number 13. And after line number 13, which line it will go, the code? Huh? It goes outside out of this switch block. Now what we are saying is, if there is no break, let's suppose it goes inside this. Okay, let's check in answer here. What it will print? It will print Sunday. Okay, now it is seeing if now let's suppose we forgot to add a break. Now what will happen? Huh? So we are saying until it sees a break, it will go to the next case. It will not even check, it will not even compare the value of a case label. It will directly go to the case block. So here day of week was 1, it matched with this case. It went to day name assigned to Sunday. It has not seen a break. Then it will go to line number 14. It will not check the value of day of week with this 2, because it has checked once, it is success. Now until it sees a break, it will keep on executing other case statements. So now I will run this. Now you tell me what will be the output. Sunday, Monday both? Monday? Why Sunday and Monday both? So what is happening here? We are defining a variable day name where the first value is no day, right? At line number 12, what did we do? We updated the value of this day name to Sunday. Now at line number 14, what we did? We updated this value of day name to Monday. Now there is a break. It will go to line number 35. Now what's the value of day name? Loud? What if I remove this? Sometimes it is desirable, but sometimes this is a bug, a logical bug, which is very hard to find. So take care of it. Everything will work. Now nested switch. Like nested if, there can also be a nested switch. So switch can be used inside the switch statements. Let's quickly run this example. Sorry? 1 o'clock. Okay. So you want to go now? 1 o'clock will wrap. Everyone can stay till 1? 12:35, 2 hours. 15-20 minutes, we'll just wrap it. Nested if, there is an nested switch, it means a switch inside a switch. Now what we are doing here, we are getting a category of type int. There are different labels. So for case 1, the category is electronics. For case 2, category is clothing. There are 2 categories, electronics and clothing. And on those 2 categories, we also have some subcategory. So electronics have some subcategory like mobile phones and laptops, and clothing have subcategory of men's clothing and women's clothing. Now I want to know the category and subcategory based on these variables. So now how will I do it? I will create one switch block which will contain cases for this category. Okay. If the category is 1, where will it go? At line number 10 or line number 23 or line number 13? 10, because this is once in this outer switch block, it will check for the case of this switch block, right? Whatever case is mentioned in this switch block, it will check the labels with that value. Case 1 is there, Now it will go to line number 10. It will print category electronics, and then we found another switch. Now what will happen? If subcategory is true 2, it has gone to line number 11. Now where the next line will go? Huh? 16? Case 2, 16? It will go to 16. And then it will break. So this break, after this break, where will it go? At what line number it will go? See, this was the outer switch. It went to this case 1. Then we are saying it will go to case 2. Then we faced here break. After this break, where will it go? Line number 21 or line number this 37? Very good. Line number 21. Because this break will exit from this switch block, this inner switch block. So it will go to line number 21. And after line number 21, there is again a break. Now where will it go? Where will it go? 38, 37 is the termination of that switch. At 37, there is a switch here. This is the complete block of the switch. It will go at line number 38. So the break from line number 21, where will it go? After it sees break at line number 21, then where will the code go? At which line number the code will go? 38. This is the nested switch statement. So when do we want to use switch statements? So if we have, so basically whatever we are trying to do with switch statements, we can also do it with if else. Okay. So but if else, the code is little bit of cumbersome, like there will be lots of if else statements and all. You can try this, you can try writing this code of category and subcategory using if else, and you yourself will see that code is very cluttered. But using switch, you will find the code is maintainable. It is very easy to read. That's why we'll use switch instead of if else blocks. Like if there are lots of if else blocks, there are alternatives to use switch. And also there is one performance benefit also in using switch. Okay, what is this benefit? So when there are lots of values to choose from, right? Let's suppose there are categories. Let's suppose there are thousands of categories, and if we want to do it with if else block, in the each if else blocks, what will check? Okay, if it is 1, and then in another if else block will check, okay, if it is 2, 3, 4 and 5. So where the range of values are very high in number, in that case using switch statements is very beneficial in terms of performance, right? Why? Because in the case statement we have said that we'll always use constant, right? So since in the case we are saying we are always use constant, the compiler will use this information to effectively compile the code, and then due to this the code will run much more faster manner as compared to if else block, right? So here in the switch statement, the compiler recognizes that the case constants will share the same type, and it only requires equality comparison with the switch expression. But what was there in the if else? What we were mentioning in the if else? What was there in the if else? Condition, expression. Some dynamic expression was also used there, right? Because we were also using modulus. Modulus 2 is equal to 0 or not. But here in this case, we are always using constant. So there will be some performance benefit. Compiler will convert or compile the code in a manner that it will run very fast. So whenever someone asks you when to use switch statements instead of if else, you can tell them these points. Yeah. And another is what to do. to do with repetition. In repetition, they are also called as iterative. We have seen one example of for loop, right? So what does these statements do? They create the loops, and in a loop, same block of code is executed repeatedly until some condition is met. So in a case to print I from 1 to 5, what was the condition? What was the condition we said when we tried to print count from 1 to 5? Condition. Yes. That we need some termination conditions, and there the termination condition was less than equal to 5. If we don't provide any condition, or if condition is always true, what will happen? Yes? Continuously, indefinitely, your program will hang. And this has happened in multiple production code also. Due to some issue or missing cases, the same code of instruction will go on running, and it will cause this overflow, memory overflow and all. So there are different types where we can create the loops. First is using while. The syntax of while is like this. So the while is a type of iteration statements that executes a block of code repeatedly as long as a condition is true, right? So here condition should be an expression which should always return true or false. If it is true, then this block will execute repeatedly until condition breaks, until either we explicitly break from the while loop or condition becomes false. So it is used when number of iteration is not known beforehand, or when the condition depends on runtime factors. We'll see. So this is the syntax of while loop. So what are these components? First is condition. So condition is Boolean expression, and we have seen in the if, else and all, Boolean expressions always give Boolean results, and it decides whether the loop body should be executed. So the loop body will keep on executing as long as condition is true. And loop body, it is a block of code. What all the statements inside this curly braces is called the loop body. And curly braces can be avoided if only single statement is repeated. We have seen this in example of if there is only one statement, we can avoid the curly braces. But it's always a good practice to have a curly braces even if there is single statement. So now how does it execute? Let's execute one factorial. What is factorial? Very common interview questions to calculate any factorial. What is factorial? If you include 0, it will always give you 0. One factorial of n would be, what is factorial of n? 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into n minus 1 into n. So factorial of 5 would be 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. That's what we call factorial. It's very common questions. Well, a very common concept. It is asked a lot in the interviews. So here we are trying to calculate a factorial using while loop. So here what we are doing is we have defined a number 5 whose factorial will calculate factorial 1 equal to will start from 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. Sorry, in the factorial will keep the final count. So factorial 5 will give us, what will the result of factorial 5? So here we are trying to calculate the factorial of 5. So we will start from 1. Here in the while loop, what will be our condition? I is less than equal to 5, and I here is 1, 2, 3, like I initial value is 1 and then will increase it to 5. 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and we want to terminate as soon as I becomes 6, because we don't want the factorial of 6, we only want factorial of 5. So now what will happen here? We go step by step. Okay. Before execution of the block, condition is checked. So Java will come here at line number 10. It will check whether this condition is true or not. Is this condition true? I less than equal to number? Yes. Then it will go to this block. Now at line number 11, what it will do? What will be the value of factorial? 1. Then what it is doing here? Line number 12. Yes. Increment. Now the value of I is 2. Okay. Huh? Yeah. Huh? Where? Line number 11, we have seen what does it denote? Factorial equal to into I. Right? We have seen this operator. What it is doing? It is assigning factorial by multiplication of its previous value of factorial with then value of I. Right? So he wants to debug it. Let's debug it. So here at the first point, the value of I is 1 and the number is 5, and the value of factorial is 1. After that, what will be the value of factorial? What is the value of factorial? 1. Simple. It's 1. And then it does I plus plus. It will increment the value by 1. Now see, it has executed the block. Now the second condition we have checked. If the condition is true, the block is executed once. So after executing all the statements in the block, it again checks for the condition. So see, in the debugger, it again came to line number 10. Why it came to line number 10? For next iteration. And here for the before the next iteration, what it will do? It will check the condition. Now value of I is 2. Is it true? Yes, it is true. It will again go inside this block. Now the value of factorial would be you said factorial is 1 before, like in the previous iteration. Here what we did factorial equal to factorial into I. Factorial was 1 into I is 2 na. See, here we were checking I is 2, right? In the first iteration itself we have increased the value of I, so it became 2, right? We checked 2 with the number, and then here we are doing factorial equal to factorial into I, which will give us value 2. Factorial is now 2, and then again we are incrementing the value of I. So now what will be the value of I? 3. This is again true. Now what will be the value of factorial? What? 2. No, before the earlier in the earlier iteration, what did we said? The value was 2, right? It will become 6 now. What it is doing? Factorial into I. Here I is 3, and here the previous value was 2, so 2 into 3 6. Now factorial value is 6, and again I value will increase to 4 until it is 6. It will keep on executing it. So now finally the answer would be 120, right? So if the condition, until and unless the condition is false, the process will keep on repeating, and then once the condition is false, the loop will terminate. And when the loop will terminate, control goes to the next line of code immediately following the loop. And there are some points to take care. You have to make sure the condition should eventually become false. Otherwise, the loop will execute indefinitely. It will hang your program. And there will be a cases where the while loop will never execute. Why? Because initial condition is false. Let's suppose if I do it like this, I have assigned value as 6. Will it execute? No. The first condition itself will fail. It will go to line number 16. These are the points you have to take care. Okay. And yeah, here please note, body of while or for or whatever loops we'll discuss, it can be empty because a null statement is valid. What is a null statement in Java? A null statement is a statement that only contains a semicolon. So in this, at line number 5, if I just have a semicolon, it is a valid statement in Java. See? It will not throw any error. Will it do anything? Will it execute anything? Will it print or do anything? Any operation? No. It's just a null statement. Is valid, but it will not do anything. You can have as many null statements you can have. Okay. So what we are trying to say here is Java can have this while loop or for loop or any loop can have a null statement, which means like this. It can have a null statement. Now what will happen? In this case, what will happen? Come on. Please note this. What will happen here? It will print high. How many times? 5 times? 5 times? 1 time? How many times? 5 times? 1 time. 1 time, 5 times. What it will do is, since we have not used curly braces, it will treat that this block only have one statement. Java will come here, it will say 1 is less than 5, yes, it will print this. Now after this, where it will go? Where it will go? Why? See, we are not using a block. And if also we have seen, if you are not using a block, Java will treat this one statement as a part of the block. Only one statement now is a part of the block, right? We have done this in if, right? Yes. 2 minutes, only 2 minutes. We are leaving 2 minutes. See guys, we have seen in the if, like if there is only one statement, then only one statement is part of that block. So as soon as it will print here, it will again go to this if is while condition, right? Yes or no? Yes. Then again it will check I with number, and I here is 1 or 2. I here is 5. It's 1. 1, 2, 5, what? 1. So what will happen? It will keep on printing high. See, my code is not terminating. It is just keep on printing I. Why? Because I forgot a block here. I assumed I++ is a part of this block. That's why it was printing like this. So as soon as I add a block and include this I++ as part of this block, then it will print high 5 times. See? Okay. And a null statement we have seen, it is a statement that is valid and it contains only one block. So instead of this, you can check this example here. What will happen here quickly? Now what will happen here? What will happen here? Come on. It is a valid statement, a null statement. What will happen? Print 1 to 5. See, we have seen now. It only, since we have not used curly braces, only this statement is part of this while loop, and this condition will always return true. So it will keep on executing indefinitely, right? See, it is not terminating, it will keep on executing. Okay. So yeah, that's all for the class. In the next class, we'll cover all other statements. Tomorrow's class.